Some of the best biathletes in the world are going to be battling it out head-to-head in some selection races and also in just pre-season warm-up races for some. The stakes, of course, being different for different biathletes. Some now are fighting for their position in the World Cup team, which on Olympic season is even more consequential. Getting in that team early, proving yourself on the World Cup, and setting confidence in the minds of the selection committee ahead of that all-important Olympic selection. The temperature is minus 3.2 degrees and the snow is nice and compact. The artificial snow having been very well prepared by Idre Fjäll race coordinators, and they've managed to set out a fantastic loop here in Idre Fjäll, which is going to be skied around 5 times by these biathletes today in this 10-kilometer sprint. The format somewhat differing due to the fact that the course is shorter than usual, but more on that soon. But as for the starting order, Sebastian Samuelsson, he's going to be taking out the early start with bib number 101, which is the bib number 1 in this race. And we have the German national team racing with us as well. Martin Ponsaloma, another big name from the Swedish team, he's going to be starting with bib 109, and only 11 minutes until he gets underway. As for Sebastian Samuelsson, just 7 minutes remaining until the start of the race. As you can see down the start order, Team Estonia, Ukraine, they're here, and Danilo Reitmüller of Germany also making his presence known as with the rest of the German team. As we get further down, we have a participant from Norway, which is exciting, but most of them are Swedish as we go further down the start order. An impressive 88 starters today in this race, many of whom are international. Poland are very well represented here, and several Norwegians as well who decided not to do the season opener in Geilo. But these are certainly going to be exciting races, as we already saw this morning. Lots of drama, lots of excitement. Hannah Öberg taking a very strong and decisive victory, 34.9 seconds ahead of Elvira Öberg. And then in third place we had Lynn Gesblom, who did just such a fantastic comeback race. That's after having been out with a shoulder injury. So great to see her performing and back on the team at the highest level. Sebastian Samuelsson, of course, taking out bib number 1. And with that comes a certain degree of pressure, knowing that all eyes are on you in the shooting range, but he is no stranger to that pressure, and he is no stranger to this course. As we take a look at the graphic now, this is all climbing until we get to that 180-degree turn at the top. And then it is largely descent all the way down through parallel to the shooting range, but not through it. And then down to the very lowest part of the course where the symbol is now. And then it's a steep and quite aggressive climb back up into the shooting range, over the bridge, and then through to make lap 1. However, there are 5 times 2 kilometer laps, totaling at 10K. But the format of that is going to be 2 laps, shoot, 2 laps, shoot, 1 lap, finish. So we will keep track of how the implications of that during the race. For example, it's definitely noteworthy to see the splits after lap 1 and 2, but then inferring that because it's half the distance for the final lap, that those exaggerated times on the first 2 laps will not apply to the last lap. If somebody's just a little bit behind or off the pace, they might be able to maintain it. And now Dupasquier, wearing bib number 2, 102 I should say, but 2 in the instance of this race, from Switzerland, and he's got 4 minutes and 40 seconds until he will be getting underway. And he will be hot on the heels of Sebastian Samuelsson, who's going to be quite likely, I mean almost certainly, he's got himself his spot on the World Cup. Not much to worry about there. But even in the instances where their positions are guaranteed, it's still vitally important to follow a process that is going to see these biathletes perform, not just in terms of getting selected for the Olympics, but performing at the Olympics. Sebastian Samuelsson wearing green now, you can see he has had plenty of experience and success at the very highest level. Finishing 4th overall in the Men's World Cup total score. And that was in 2024-2025 season. That was behind Eric Perrault, Johannes Tingnes-Bo and Legride. Of course, Johannes Tingnes-Bo is no longer going to be racing, but Perrault and Legride are 2 contenders who will be battling it out for the top spot. Eric Perrault certainly seeding himself to be one of the favourites. But Samuelsson, he didn't attend the races in the Loop 1 festival in Munich. And that's been one of the most interesting races that we've seen in this build-up to the Olympic season. And that Loop 1 festival really building up the anticipation for races such as these. Let's take a look at the start list with Sebastian Samuelsson taking it out at the beginning, and David Zobel, he's wearing bib number 3 for the Germans, first German out, and then many from the German team are going to be competing and trying to vie for position on the World Cup and IBU Cup. Jesper Nelin, bib 121 of Sweden, the 3rd best Swede, and he's going to be hoping to maintain that. Victor Brandt, of course, of Sweden, another exceptionally talented biathlete. He did very well at the 1 festival on the page that just went by. Bib 141 to 150. We have some Norwegians in there, as we do now, from 151 to 160. The Estonians are making themselves known, as well as Poland, and we can see Nathan Carter adding some different flags there to the start list. British biathlete and also part of the British Army competing here today. The Polish team all filing into the back end of the field. 88 starters today, and many of the top racers are going to be getting underway in the first batch. So a lot of excitement is going to be coming on the screen very quickly, and it will all come in quick succession. So do keep your eyes peeled, and just bear in mind that many of the biathletes that you're watching today are going to be contenders for Olympic medals. Not just spots at the Olympics, but Olympic medals. Sebastian Samuelsson just getting some blood flow into his fingers with 37 seconds until he starts. Keeping us all on the edge of our seat, asking us whether he's going to get to the start line in time, but he has the experience and the know-how. He will be there, and he will be in great form. It's Olympic season, the stakes are high, and the Swedish team is at a great level under Johannes Lucas. Hear the Velcro on his pole straps as he tightens it. Final adjustments, and he's off. Sebastian Samuelsson taking out the first bib, the first leg for the Swedish team, and hopefully getting himself in a great position by the end of today in what will be an Olympic season and potentially a medal season for Sebastian Samuelsson. We have Arnaud Dupasquier of Switzerland following him, and he's got no shortage of pressure, following one of the best biathletes in the world. But pacing is critical. Even on a course where there aren't the monster hills that we have seen in the past, even here in Idre Fjäll, there is a great deal of difficulty that comes with the big climb back into the shooting range. So pacing is important, and we saw that in the race this morning with Lynn Gesblom taking it out nice and slowly on lap 1 and sustaining a really good pace in the latter stages of the race. David Zobel, he gets underway wearing bib number 3 for Germany and is one of the favorites for the Germans. The German team really showing their numbers here and training here in Idre, where the conditions are some of the best in the world as a result of great preparation. Zakna Rene of Estonia, a brilliant biathlete. He loves the relays, particularly the first leg, and often does great performances in those, but also has had no shortage of great results here. In 2024 in the sprint, Zakna finished third in this race last year, and is one to look out for in this race today as a potential performer. Philip Navrat, wearing bib number 5. A cool, calm and collected character, capable of having fantastic results at the very sharpest end of the field. He's claimed a victory in the sprint in Östersund in the past 2023-24 season. Second place in the pursuit in the World Cup in Östersund, and that a few days later. And third place in the sprint in Kontiolahti and Lenzerheide, both on World Cups. He's been up there on the podium and is a contender today. Henning Sjöqvist of Sweden now wearing bib number 6. Brilliant start number for Sjöqvist. And hot on the heels of Philip Navrat, sandwiched between Navrat and Rees, wearing bib number 7. 5 seconds to go until he gets underway. He's been a figure in the German team, climbing up and making himself known. Coming from the junior category and having some excellent results back in the day, some 7 or 8 years ago, but now trying to fight his way into an Olympic spot in a team that is extremely competitive. And here we have Lucas Hofer, one of biathlon's most popular biathletes, as Oscar Andersson gets underway from Sweden, sprinting out the start gate, where later on in the race, as the field becomes slightly more congested, we will see the intersection of 3 different directions, or 3 different paths leading to one single path, and that's from the range or from the transit point or from the start. So biathletes having to be particularly careful not to bump into one another. Those coming out of the range having right of way, as Martin Ponsaloma gets underway, another hot favorite for the race today, and another hot favorite for potential Olympic medals as the years go by. And just as he gets out the start gates, right behind him is Sebastian Samuelsson, who is just some 30 meters as I look out the window here in the commentary booth. Sebastian Samuelsson skate-toing up the hill, really just 20 meters behind Martin Ponsaloma, meaning they can work together to some degree. Magadziev of Moldova getting started with quite short skate 2 technique, arms quite far behind him, not so much forward lean, but a distinct and very clear technique, distinct from others around him, I would say, as Justus Strello of Germany is preparing to get underway. And Strello, he's off. He's a fantastic shooter. Last year, managing to get 92% in pro and 88% in stand. And here you'll see just how far Ponsaloma is ahead of Samuelsson, not in terms of the race results, but just in terms of the benefit of having each other to keep an eye on where they are relative to one another in this race. We saw something similar with the Öberg sisters, as they were actually side by side going around the track, meaning they could benefit from tracking each other and being in each other's slipstream. Now, Lukas Fratscher of Germany wearing bib 113. Many Germans on the start list today, Fratscher among them. And a lot of pressure on the Germans, all fighting for a select few spots on the World Cup and the IBU Cup. This race, for many, is pivotal to get selected to go on the World Cup, and when there, proving themselves such that they're able to make it into the selection, or make the selection criteria for the Olympic Games. David Zobel is one of those biathletes to pay attention to from the German team. And already we can see he is 18.1 seconds behind Samuelsson. Now that is very similar to what we saw with Lynn Gesblom in the previous race, 18 seconds back at the 2.7 mark, and then she came in third place, barely losing any time in addition to that for the rest of the race. Pacing is important, and Philip Horn is going to have to be thinking about his process. How is he going to tackle the intensity of doing 2 laps shooting, 2 laps shooting, 1 lap finish? There are no penalty loops today in this race. Only additional time added on for every mistake on the shooting range. 22 seconds is the penalty for each mistake. And Philip Navrat now 15.8 seconds back, demonstrating either that the pace held by Samuelsson is extremely quick, which is not surprising. Samuelsson, of course, having a history of great results in these season openers. Winning in 2023 in the sprint, winning in 2024 in the sprint, really make it 3 years in a row. It certainly is possible. Nelin also having great results here as Bogdan Tsimbal of Ukraine gets started wearing bib 117, the 17th starter of the race today. And now, cut to the cable camera, tracking Sebastian Samuelsson, cooling down, easing off as he approaches the shooting range. Following the process he's done thousands of times. As the spectators watch on, the coaching staff watch on, he tries to get his breathing under control. And you can hear the heartbeat faintly beating as he hits his first target in 14 seconds. The second goes down with ease. 2 seconds later, it's 4 out of 4. And he gets the last. Fantastic shooting from Sebastian Samuelsson in a total of 25.9 seconds. It's a calm, it's a controlled start. He skips out of the range, being careful not to bump into anybody else on that same section of track. As we cut to Martin Ponsaloma. Now, 6.2 seconds down off the lead time of Samuelsson. Really demonstrating how fast Samuelsson has taken lap number 1. Really demonstrating how good a form Samuelsson has found himself in, or managed to create for himself, as David Zobel now approaching the shooting range for his first 5 prone. He takes a look at the wind flags, just evaluating if they are any different to when he zeroed. Does he need to make any adjustments? 3 clicks to the right. The first goes down in 15 seconds. Quick shooting, despite the fact that he made 3-click adjustment. 4 out of 4. David Zobel gets 5 out of 5 in his first prone in a total of 30 seconds. Took him 5 seconds to get the second shot down. He took his time there, but thereafter the targets went down in quick, smooth succession. David Zobel could not ask for a better start. Coming out of the shooting range, 23 seconds down on Sebastian Samuelsson. Equally, Philip Navrat is coming into the shooting range with a deficit in terms of ski speed. Samuelsson really attacking straight out of the gates in his typical fashion, just as Lucas Hofer gets started with his famous or infamous sprint start rapid fire. The first shot and the second go down with ease for Filip Navrat, but he has to resettle, take a few extra breaths. And that disruption, 7.5 seconds, caused a miss. 4 out of 5, frustrating that one delay was not a good investment of time. The target did not go down, and therefore 22 seconds has been added to Filip Navrat's time. And he finds himself 49 seconds down off the lead. Zakna is in third place, coming out of shoot number 1. And that's with 29.1 seconds off the lead. That strong, powerful technique there from Navrat as he skis under the Volkswagen banner. And Philipp Horn of Germany, another great biathlete from the German lineup. 6.2 seconds down on Samuelsson, very close to the pace of Martin Ponsiluoma, begging the question, is Philipp Horn either in very good condition or is he going too fast out the gates? We will track that as the race develops, as Oscar Andersson is 4 shots in, and successful ones at that. They've all been hits. And the 5th shot goes down. Good shooting from Oscar Andersson. Martin Ponsiluoma misses his first shot of the day. He gets the second. He gets the third. He looks calm and controlled. He gets the rest of the shot, begging the question whether he needed to make some click changes for that first shot. But Martin Ponsiluoma now coming out of the shooting range, 29 seconds the deficit. The first of those who have missed one target, getting himself in ahead of the likes of Roman Rees. And now Justus Strelo, who had some fantastic races in Munich at the Loop 1 Festival, the inaugural event that took place on roller skis in a city on a range built on a lake. Justus Strelo was the best shooter, the sharp shooter of the day, hitting 19 out of 20 in the mass start after reaching the final of the super sprint. And he makes 3 clicks to the left, opposite to his teammate who went 3 clicks to the right, suggesting very changeable wind conditions on the range here today. 3 out of 3 for Justus Strelo. And he goes 5 out of 5. Fantastic shooting there from Strelo. And very in line with his brand. He tends to hit the targets. He's extremely accurate. 92% hit rate in 24-25 season in prone. 95% hit rate in the previous year, and 97% hit rate in the year before that. Justus Strelo is an exceptionally good prone shot. And likewise, he's also exceptionally good at stand shooting. But the same can be said for a great many of the German biathletes, really exemplifying the shooting process. Lucas Fratscher missing his first shot. One deep gasp between each shot. A long pause when he lines up with a target, but it worked for 4 out of 5 of those shots. A 22-second added on to his target. As Jesper Nelin comes through the 2.7-kilometer mark, marking himself down as the 4th fastest skier to that point. 0.5 seconds ahead of Oscar Andersson. Another one of the Swedes who is fighting for his recognition from the selection committee to make it onto the World Cup. But it would take excellent shooting. Philipp Horn, 2 for 2. Shooting slowly and controlled. 3 breaths between shots. Excellent. 5 out of 5. That's the way it's to be done. And the range entry here, as Philip Horn knows all too well, as of this moment, is a long, long climb, gradually up until it's capped off by a very steep bridge ascent. A tight right-hander, and then a gentle cruise into the range. But not an easy range entry, that is for sure, and not an easy range. As you can see, the flags are just waving gently as Borkovsky of Ukraine settles down, looking very relaxed. Big gasps for oxygen. As you can see, the chest is elevated well above the mat. This is his second shot, gets the third and the fourth. Missing the fifth. Bogdan Borkovsky of Ukraine missing 2 from his first 5 shots, meaning a 44-second time penalty is added to his time. As a reminder, there is no penalty loop in this sprint for lack of snow. And Simbal of Ukraine now missing his first shot, but will he get the final? He does. Good composure, rifles on his back, and of course, missing 1 shot in the first prone can still result in a 9 out of 10, supposing the biathletes hit all 5. But that is a thought they want to keep far from their minds. Now, Sebastian Samuelsson comes in for what could be the best time of the day, wearing bib 101, the first racer in this event. And on the top right of your screen, we will also be tracking the German shooting. Simon Kaiser. Sebastian gets the first shot, gets the second. It's calm, it's controlled, it's fast, and it's 10 out of 10. Sebastian Samuelsson absolutely nails the shooting, absolutely nails the skiing, and all he has to do is maintain that intensity for the remainder of this ski. Can it be Sebastian Samuelsson's day? And could this be a man to look out for an Olympic medal in Milano Cortina in 2026? Simon Kaiser, 21 seconds down off Sebastian Samuelsson's time after shoot number 1. And you can see Sebastian Samuelsson charging up the hill as he exits the range, knowing he's only got 2 kilometers now to get round before his race is said and done. Jesper Nalin taking his time, missing the first shot, not looking comfortable. The second and third and fourth all go down for Jesper Nalin. And then the first one was the anomaly. He will be frustrated by that, and you can see the consequence of that miss being felt in real time as his time shifted up 22 seconds, marking him now 43.1 seconds down off the lead after shoot number 1. Germany looking particularly impressive after shoot number 1. Of course, Sebastian Samuelsson and Oscar Andersson doing very well up there, but the remaining 6 are Germans, David Zobel among them. But with this 44 seconds of penalty added to Zobel's time, it's not a good start for stand shooting for David Zobel. 66 seconds added on to the German's time, not the result he was hoping for today. But Lukas Hofer will be none the wiser as he takes a look over to his right-hand side at the wind flags. He makes a 2-click to the left adjustment. He takes some extra deep gasps of air to control the front of his rifle, to generate some semblance of stability as he lines up with a target. Rear sight, foresight, squeeze. And he misses the last shot. 4 go down with ease, and the final shot for Lukas Hofer does not go down. But also the ski speed is lacking in terms of the very sharp end of this field. Another one to look out for. Zach Narene, 10 out of 10. We missed his prone, but there he is, getting the full 10 in stand and showing us once again why he earned his spot as a third position in this very race last year. He's 1 minute and 13 seconds down off lead time set by Samuelsson. But Zakna is in second place. Great shooting from the Estonian. And now with an opportunity to tuck in behind the German, who's hopefully going to be leading him up that hill. And it's so much easier when you have someone to follow. So let's take a look now. After shooting one, we have Samuelsson in first place, 8 seconds ahead of Philip Horn. Oscar Andersson in third place, 18 seconds down off the lead. Simon Kaiser in fourth. Justus Strelo in fifth. David Zobel in sixth. But we know that some of these biathletes have already come in to shoot stand and have missed targets. David Zobel being the main among them. And now, let's turn our attention to Martin Ponsaloma, who misses his last shot, and he let us know all about the frustration he was experiencing in that moment as he gasped. That's 2 misses as Sebastian Samuelsson crosses the line with a perfect 10 out of 10. The perfect start to the season. 22 minutes, 30 seconds. And it doesn't get much better than that. You're looking at what could be one of the best biathletes in the 25-26 season. You're looking at what could be an Olympic gold medalist at the upcoming Milano Cortina Olympic Games in Italy. Sebastian Samuelsson is following the process. He's got a daughter now, adding a different component to the training process. He's maintaining his absolute professionalism. Justus Strelo of Germany now, having hit all of the targets in prone, has an opportunity, has an opening, with many of the big names missing targets. We've seen Strelo before hit 95% in prone in a season, 93% stand in 23-24 season. He knows very well how to shoot. 2.2 seconds separating each shot with perfect consistency. It's 10 out of 10, and it's so smooth, it's so controlled. The discipline and timing between shots really is total control. 28 seconds to hit, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 for the German, and only 46.9 seconds the deficit. Justus Strelo coming out of shoot number 2, setting himself up for a fantastic race, and I'll keep you up to date with where he is now in second position, behind Sebastian Samuelsson. Lukas Fratscher of Germany, he's already missed the target. He's skiing well, as we can see in the top right of your screen. Melker Nordgren of Sweden. And Lukas Fratscher missing 3. He'll be disappointed with that, and he will know just the implications of a performance like that when the competition is so tight in the German team for those spots on the World Cup, on the IBU Cup. Now Philip Horn settling his elbow onto his hip, but taking his first shot at a very quick 9.9 seconds, 3.8 seconds to follow between the first and second shot. Philip Horn gets 9 out of 10. Was that first shot just a little bit too rushed, perhaps? It's unclear to me whether it was even a deliberate shot, being that fast. And of course, the evolution of biathlon with the likes of Uldal of Norway, seeing the speed of shooting just utterly transform. It could very well be that he intended to shoot in sub 10 seconds for his first shot, but it did look very rushed. Danilo Reitmüller of Germany. Lovely position, all of the angles perfectly marked, shoulders level, and 2.8 seconds between shots on average. He gets the final one down, so it's 4 out of 5 for the German. As Martin Ponsaloma now charging towards the line, despite 3 mistakes, is skiing incredibly fast. Gets himself the second fastest time to the finish line, slotting himself 22 seconds ahead of Philip Navrat, who only missed 1 target. Absolutely fantastic skiing from Martin Ponsaloma. And Victor Brandt, well, he did very, very well, finishing 6th in the Loop 1 festival in Munich, but not doing so well on the shooting front right now, missing 2 targets so far and getting 3 out of 5 only, 44 seconds added to his time, but he is skiing very, very well. Subtracting that 44 seconds, it's only 8 seconds down of Samuelsson's time. So Victor Brandt demonstrating not only that he can shoot very accurately, as he proved in the Loop 1 festival, but he's skiing very, very quickly, implying that the Swedes have a really good relay team. Now, Simon Kaiser, 5 for 5 in prone. So far, so good in stand. 2 to go. It's 10 out of 10 for Simon Kaiser. He opted to shoot the 5th target and then moved on to the 4th target. A strategy that some biathletes deploy to overcome the demons and the fear of that last shot. And it worked for Kaiser as he got all 10 targets down. As we turn to teammate Justus Strelo, who is now hurtling towards the finish line, having hit his 10 out of 10. Great shooting from yet another German, crossing the line just under 1 minute behind the leader and ahead of Martin Ponsaloma. Strelo a minute behind Sebastian Samuelsson's time, and really implying that the Germans have found their form, are being competitive, because we know that these results would stand on the World Cup. Jesper Nälin, arguably the 3rd best of the Swedes, missing his 4th shot, getting the last. It's 8 out of 10 for Jesper Nälin. He won't be pleased with that. He's going to know that Victor Brandt will be fighting against him, and we can see his heartbeat there, 151 beats per minute. A new piece of technology that is very, very welcome from a production perspective. Simon Kaiser of Germany, his 10 out of 10, resulting in him being just 45.7 seconds down off the lead time. That's at the 8.7 kilometer mark. He's got himself in ahead of Kaiser. Philip Horn now, also with a fantastic time, 39 seconds off the lead. Philip Horn doing really well to maintain. Well, there, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a power cut here on site, so we're limited in terms of our visuals, but we can give you some updates as to the results so far. So if you're getting pictures, I am not getting those. will just speak about the statistics that I can see on the result live update. So at the moment we have Sebastian Samuelsson. He has taken the top result of the day, which looks to be an untouchable time, and that time is 22 minutes 30. Philipp Horm of Germany, 39 seconds down off that with one mistake, so proving to have fantastic form. And Germany really having an excellent day, with Simon Kaiser coming in third place so far, or looking to be in third place so far. The difference, that remains to be told. That's the projected time. But Justus Strello of Germany currently finished in third, 59.3 seconds down, and ahead of Ponsaloma by 11 seconds. And I'll give you an update at chute number 2. We have Jesper Nelin. He's currently in 10th place, one of the best of the Swedes. But from today, we have Malte Stefansson of having shot 10 out of 10, done very, very well. And he's coming in now, estimated to be coming across the finish line. We may not be able to track it with graphics, but I will keep you up to date, as we do have Malte Stefansson very soon to be coming out of chute number 2. So once again, for those who are just catching up with the pictures right now, we had a power cut across the whole of Idre Fjäll, and that's resulted in all the pictures, all the communications going down, but we still have a live feed from the results, so I'm just reading out those timings for the time being until we get the pictures back, the graphics back. Sebastian Samuelsson having done a fantastic race, got the perfect 10, and crossing the finish line in the lead. Germany across the board having a great race today for the men, with Horn, Kaiser, Strello, Reitmüller, Navrat and Fund all in the top 10. A very strong German presence. Now in terms of the Swedes at the finish line, and this is likely to change, we have Martin Ponsaloma in second place of the Swedes. And then we have Jesper Nelin currently in third, although that may not stand the test of time. Alfred Eriksson, he's in fourth place just in terms of the Swedes, and just in behind Jesper Nelin. So skiing almost exactly the same, having shot 2, or having missed only 2 out of 10. So fantastic shooting from Alfred Eriksson, making himself known and putting himself in good standing to possibly being selected by the Swedish selection committee. Oscar Andersson of Sweden with his 2 mistakes, falling down just a little bit. Sebastian Samuelsson is getting interviewed in the SVT Sport just out in front of me after claiming his victory. Be interesting to hear what he has to say. But I do apologize for the technical difficulties for those who were watching and are now just getting back up to speed with the images on your screen. There's a little bit of disconnect perhaps between what you see until everybody gets back into the rhythm following that power cut. But the results are, the race is still underway, and there are some notable performances, such as Lucas Hofer, 2 minutes and 30 seconds behind off the lead time. A result that he may not be overly pleased with, but the Olympic Games is the most important thing for Lucas Hofer. Bogdan Cymbal of Ukraine. Is in 12th place right now. And Zachner Rene, the first of the finishers who are not German or Swedish, finishing so far in 8th position. That's after having finished 3rd in this race last year. And now we're seeing some of the latter starters of this race. bib number 153, belonging to Philip Lindqvist Flotten of Norway. He gets started. There's only a couple Norwegians making themselves present here in Idre Fjäll, Sweden. Of course, many of the Norwegians will be competing today at the opening, the Norwegian season opener in Geilo. The results for which are coming in, and the race is running concurrently to these. Dorothea Viera doing very well, finishing in 6th with 3 mistakes, so very clearly in good shape. But the victory belonging to Kirkeide of Norway, missing 2 targets. And then Ugard of Norway coming in 2nd place, with Lotte Lie in 3rd for Belgium. Bib number 155. Tore Sandegård. And the Swede is representing Valbo Almona, the club. There are many different clubs in Sweden. And once again, for those of you just joining, I do apologize about the technical issues that we've had and are continuing to have. The race was over very quickly for Sebastian Salmonsen, taking bib number 1 from start to finish. He only took 22 minutes 30 seconds to complete the duration of the race. And from starting to finish, he took the lead, he held the lead, and he has crossed the line as the victor today with a time that looks to be unbeatable, even though the race is still underway. But once again, biathlon is not all about the victory. Only one person can claim that it is, and that is the one who won. But it is also about the latter results for those who have been training year upon year to make incremental gains, to climb up the ladder. And these are the numbers that we see right now. Bib 144, belonging to David Nyqvist. And Nyqvist is a name that some might be familiar with at the European Championships in 2025 season in Val Martello. Beautiful event and a beautiful place, but the altitude there, of course, having its impact. With 159, we have Carl Grunland of Sweden getting started. And once again, taking a closer look at the finishing results for those who are unaware and perhaps missed some of the details due to the power cut. We have one individual who is looking to be a contender for potentially position number 10. That is, actually the graphic has just disappeared, but Jesper Nelin currently in 11th place. He was deposed by teammate Malte Steffensen, having shot only one better, but skiing a similar speed. So now, looking from the perspective of the Swedish selection committee, we obviously know that Sebastian Salmonsen, as you can see on your screen right now, the winner today, he is very easily and comfortably selected and was before the race even begun. And we also know that now Philip Horn, Simon Kaiser and Justus Strelot surely have a safe bet selection into the German World Cup team, but it is competitive. We also have Danilo Reitmüller of Germany in 6th place, Philipp Navrat in 7th place, and we have Leonard Fund of Germany in 9th place. We have 6 Germans in the top 10. We have 3 Swedes in the top 10, and one of whom is Malte Steffensen. Looking further down the order, Victor Brandt did not have the day he would have liked. He skied exceptionally fast, but Victor Brandt missed 4 when all was said and done. 2 in the prone, 2 in the stand, and those 42 seconds were just too many to reclaim on the track for Victor Brandt. So far, he sits in 20th position, just behind Lukas Frapture of Germany, who skied very well. Skied much better than Roman Rees, that's notable. Skied better than David Zobel, equally notable. And now, with 145 belonging to Oscar Bergman of Mora Biathlon Club. He's looking at the win flags, and his process now is key. Avoiding any thought that leads him to consider the outcome. That's often done by proactive thinking about one aspect of the performance. Before he does that, he's had to make an adjustment to his sight in accordance with the changing wind conditions, but also light conditions are changing. He makes a further adjustment to his sight. You can see with this angle just how much head weight is on the cheek piece. Oscar Bergman missing his first and third shot, getting the 5th. 3 out of 5 for the Swede. The shooting range is notoriously challenging when the wind is up. But right now you can see the wind flags on the right of your screen. Not too challenging. As Oscar Jansson comes in, 49 seconds behind and counting, meaning that time will continue to count until he's fired all 5 shots and then skied out of the shooting range past the timing gate. Just raises his rear sight snow cover. Very relaxed position, all the fundamentals perfectly aligned, shoulder to elbow is parallel both left and right arm. You can see his trigger operation on his right hand. Gentle, just failing to push his bolt all the way forward there, so relying on a gentle recock, but looking so calm, so relaxed. 5 out of 5, great shooting for Oscar Jansson there. And what appears to be amounting to a pretty good ski so far, 1 minute and 37 seconds down after shooting number 1. That puts him in 43rd position. And then just for context, in 29th position, just 15 places ahead of him, we have Lukas Hofer, one of biathlon's OGs, who is 1 minute and 4 seconds down from the lead time, just after shooting number 1. 1 minute and 4 seconds. So Lukas Hofer not having the best result. And I do wonder if to some degree there might be some explanation with ski speed, but of course that's not an easy claim to make given the fact that the ski conditions, or that we only have Lisa Vitozzi and Lukas Hofer to go by. But Lisa Vitozzi in the earlier race today, finishing in 4th position. For those of you who are just catching up on the women's race, we had a lot of absolutely excellent drama for you there too, with Hannah Öberg claiming the victory almost in the exact same manner that Sebastian Samuelsson did. The two of them on Olympic season seem to find something special, and they seem to do so in perfect unison. 2nd position was Elvira Öberg with 1 mistake, and Lynn Gesblom of Sweden, formerly known as Lynn Parsson, but worth reiterating, as we can now see Vincent Green of Sweden coming in with a slightly dropped left shoulder in his position. It doesn't mean to say that it's got catastrophic consequences or anything like that, but it can certainly imply that there's some disequilibrium in the technique, and 3 mistakes from 5 isn't something that he will be pleased with. I'm almost certain of that. But every single miss is an opportunity to learn something about the process. Ultimately, biathlon is a perpetual state of learning from the process and figuring out what needs to be done to make corrections, as Philip Lindqvist Flåten of Norway is coming out of the range now with his one mistake, 1 minute and 14 seconds behind. And now we have Simon Ragnarsson Hallström of Sweden. Now Hallström has been in and around the World Cup, the Swedish team for a very long time, and has a very unique way of shooting, particularly in stand. His accuracy is almost unmatched, unparalleled in the summer training. There have been occasions where he's barely missed a single target all summer training. Quite remarkable shooter. But then when it comes to the racing in the winter, it's not always the case. You can see how much head weight he has on the cheek piece. The first two shots go down easily. The third's a miss. The fourth is a hit. And so is the fifth. And he's off. Hallström is really one of the unique stand shooters. He actually, in the past, connects his arm sling in stand shooting as well as in pro, and one of the only biathletes I've ever known to do it. And that has led to him barely missing any targets in summer training in stand shooting. It really is remarkable. So he's a unique shooter, an extremely nice gentleman, still fighting in this biathlon world and fighting in what is one of the most amazing sports that the biathlon family all enjoy. And what a privilege it is to enjoy this biathlon race, which for the first time is being broadcast internationally. Carl Grunland, up until this point, 22 seconds ago, that's when Samuelsson left the shooting range, having hit all 5 targets. And that's a little bit of perspective on how much time he has lost up until this point. But comparing oneself to the very best and the very sharpest end of the field can sometimes be demoralizing and completely unnecessary, especially when they're fighting for completely different things. There's a difference between going for victory and just incrementally improving the process. Carl Grunland, 4 out of 5. And very steadily coming out of his prone shoot. 1 minute and 27 seconds off the lead time. It's not bad. And remember, for perspective, we did see some big names coming out of shoot number 1. Lucas Hofer, 1 minute and 4 seconds back. So this man here now only some 37 seconds behind Lucas Hofer. As we see Nathan Carter on the right-hand side of your screen, competing for Great Britain, doing skate 1 up under the Volkswagen banner. As the camera cuts to Victor Westman of Sweden. This bridge is deceptively steep, having a big impact on the bodies of these biathletes after a very long climb up and to that point. But now Victor Westman entering the shooting range with a deficit of 40 seconds, but that is off Samuelsson's time, having shot off 5 and left the shooting range. And now the top 10 looks to be set in stone. Untouchable timings, with Malte Steffensen taking in 10th place for Sweden, and ahead of him we have 6 Germans and 2 Swedes. 3 out of 3 for Victor Westman. 5 out of 5. Great shooting from the young Swede. He takes one glance back over his shoulder, checking that the targets really did go down, and they did indeed. And now a mere 23 seconds down behind the legend Lucas Hofer. That's nothing to scoff at. And this race fielding an enormous 88 biathletes from nations including Poland, Norway, Switzerland, Germany, Sweden, Moldova, Great Britain, Italy, Estonia, and Jakub Putnik of Poland hitting his first 3 targets with a rock-steady barrel. All 5 go down, cool, composed, measured, and skipping with purpose up off the mat and out with only 1 minute and 17 seconds down behind the leader. 1 minute and 17 seconds, earning him an impressive position of 35th. That's after having missed no targets. And this angle, once again, really not emphasizing how steep that hill is. A dramatic angle nonetheless, but that hill is painful. Very steep, very short, and a real kick to the lungs right before coming in here to shoot. So now for Albert Marietta of Sweden, he's got to get his breath under control, his heart rate under control. As he builds up his position. His right elbow slipping ever so slightly as he attempts to firm it onto the mat. The first 2 targets go down with apparent ease. The third is a miss. He hits the 4th and he gets the 5th. Good shooting there from Albert Marietta in a total time of 34.3 seconds. A very controlled, a very measured time, when most biathletes now are managing to get all 5 targets down in sprint competitions in some 27 seconds. And now Helmer Jonemark of Sweden coming in to shoot his 5 targets as Oskar Jansson. A very good time to the first shot. Misses his 3rd, misses his 4th, and now we see a litany of misses as Oskar Jansson throws his rifle on his back, having missed 2, and Helmer Jonemark misses 3 targets between the duo, as it happened concurrently, missing 50%. And Hjalmar Gedda of Sweden coming into the range. Once again, having to take a look at those wind flags as the conditions are somewhat changeable as the day goes on. We've seen a lot of adjustment to the rifles between the zeroing and the first visit to prone. Nathan Carter of Great Britain also now settled down on the mat. Hjalmar Gedda gets his first shot down in a controlled and measured 19.5 seconds, missing the 2nd. Now you can see the rhythm disrupted. 3 misses in a row. It's going to set him back. A very unfortunate 66 seconds, 22 seconds per penalty as a result of the slight lack of snow here in Idre Fjäll. They had to produce enough track for quality training and thus did not have enough snow for a penalty loop. We therefore have added time penalties on instead. Philip Lindqvist Vloten, 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 80% hit rate for the Norwegian today. 2 minutes and 34 seconds is his deficit. And charging out for his final lap with what looks to be a little bit of energy in those legs and arms. And how great it is to see such a strong and deep field of competitors here, some of whom are still, or have only been underway for some 4 minutes. Igor Kustal of Poland, the final starter, started 4 minutes ago. And now Jonathan Vinda coming in, wearing bib number 175. Getting his first shot down in 18 seconds. Simon Ragnarsson Hallström at the top right of your screen. Once again, one of the very best in the world. He's not hooking up his sling, his arm sling, something he did in the past. As Jonathan Vinda gets his 5 out of 5 in prone. Great shooting from him, and he'll be pleased with his time as well. 1 minute 40 off the lead. And Hallström now struggling, having missed 1 in his prone and now 2 in his stand. Slipping and dropping one of his poles, as is often the case when flustered to get up off the mat in a hurry. Every second, of course, counting. And no clearer could I demonstrate that by looking through the result list. And as you get further down, bib 17, 4 seconds separating position, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and then it just goes 2 seconds, 1 second, not even a second, separating these biathletes. So the importance of every second, as Sondre Hedstrand Svan will know all too well now, with 66 seconds added onto his time with 3 mistakes. It's a painful experience, there is no doubt about that. As Erik Vestberg settles down onto the mat, gets comfortable, gets the first shot down comfortably and relaxed in 17.4 seconds. He's not wearing a left blinder, but you can see just before he squeezes the trigger, his eye just shuts so that he hones his attention into the vision of his right eye. And some people wear blinders, others are less encouraged to do so. But blinders can have the effect, actually, of making your irises adapt to the light differently, and therefore sending slightly mixed signals to the brain. So some now opting to have almost a brighter, glazed out blinder that still brings in the same amount of light, but just distorts the view, as Tedalli of Switzerland misses his final shot. Only 1 mistake in a total of 37.7 seconds. But not many opting to use a blinder. It's disproportionately no blinder to those who do wear blinders. And now Philip Lindqvist Vloten of Norway, 8 out of 10. This is a very good time, 2 minutes and 53 seconds off the lead, finishing in 32nd position. A really, really good result from him. surrounding himself with some pretty impressive names. We've got Oskar Olsson of Sweden, not far behind him. Victor Berglund of Sweden, and not far ahead, Lucas Hofer in 26th position. A result that certainly doesn't stand him in good stead as we approach the season. Gustav Enjarsson exits his first prone. He's just missed only one target. Another notable result that isn't going to please the German team is Johannes Kuhn. Such a fast skier, reliably so, but missing 3 targets today and finishing 2 minutes and 29 seconds behind Sebastian Samuelsson. It's not great for Johannes Kuhn. And for those of you still watching, just to give you some information about the races tomorrow, we have 2 more sprints. The men and the women will both be competing. So do join us again for some more excitement. These races, there is so much at stake. Put yourself in the shoes of Johannes Kuhn, now in 25th position, missing 3. And seeing all those German names, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Germans ahead of him. Does that place him onto the IBU Cup? Almost certainly so, unless he comes in tomorrow with a point to prove. And quite honestly, it looks like a mountain to climb as Henning Lindtenberg hits 4 out of 4 and now 5 out of 5 with a very good time. The young Swede dances up off the mat. And it's going to be in very good company now with that 1 minute and 20 seconds back. Some big names around him. Ivarsson, Anton Ivarsson of Sweden, just a couple seconds ahead of him. In fact, not even a couple, just 1 second. In fact, in 7 seconds, just in front of him, there are 11 people all within 7 seconds. Really emphasizing how important it is to claim back those half seconds. As we take a look now at the standings for the day, Sebastian Samuelsson taking the victory with apparent ease, 39.9 seconds ahead of Philip Horn. Simon Kaiser of Germany in 3rd place, 53.6 seconds back, slotting it in ahead of Justus Strello of Germany. The German team looking really strong now. And as for the Swedes, we've got Martin Ponsaloma there in 5th. He'll make this flower ceremony, but it's not the result that he would have liked, with 3 mistakes on the shooting range. David Zobel, the next to have 3 mistakes. And he's in 15th place, 1 minute 57 seconds behind. Johannes Kuhn, with his 3 mistakes, 2 minutes and 29 seconds off the lead. But take a look now at our leader, Sebastian Samuelsson. He started out with a significant ski speed that saw him take the lead even as early as the 2.7 kilometer mark by a whole 6.2 seconds over Martin Ponsaloma. He managed to maintain that lead from the very beginning all the way through this race. Albert Marietta, 7 out of 10. Missing 1 in prone, 2 in stand. 5 minutes and 30 seconds back. Bib number 66 of 88. 22 more approximately to come through the stand shooting of today's race. And if that is all you have time for, do come tomorrow and join us for what will be some very exciting sprint races. We saw in the women's race earlier on today, Hannah Öberg perform absolutely fantastically well with her 10 out of 10. winning by a similar margin, actually, to Sebastian Samuelsson today. Hjalmar Gedda of Sweden. He missed 3 in prone. And now coming in to shoot his stand. Frustrated, 3 in stand as well. 40%. He certainly won't be satisfied with it, but once again, it's such a great opportunity to learn and evolve as a biathlete. Now Niels Dannerskog coming over the bridge. The steepest part of the course, perhaps the least friendly part of the course. And the final pinch, the final insult before coming into the shooting range. Each of these biathletes have to contend with that little bit of steepness after having skied up a very long, what seems to be dragging uphill before getting there. A little bit of punishment, whereas rewind the clocks 10 years ago, this range was a beautiful downhill entry, nice and relaxed, nice and calm. But oh no, it's all being flipped on its head, and now the drama is increased before the range. And how exciting it is to have these races broadcast internationally, so we can see, even as these youngsters, these future talents, like Niels Donnerskog here, as he's cleared his first 5 in prone and struggling just a little bit with a stand, but managing to get 3 out of 5, missing the last shot. Niels Dannerskog, 80% hit rate today, 60 in stand, 100% in prone. But what are the main talking points of today? Well, it has to be undoubtedly Sebastian Samuelsson's great form. It has to be the great form of the Öberg sisters, both of whom exceeded expectation, finishing in 1st and 2nd place. And it also has to be Linn Gesblom of Sweden. Jonathan Vinda, 90% hit rate, a good result from the young Norwegian. And those times appear to be far behind when you look at it from a perspective of World Cup. But Jonathan Vinda right now is competing against the likes of Sebastian Samuelsson, a potential gold medalist at the Olympic Winter Games, and has years and years of professional development until he's going to be at the highest and sharpest levels. You are looking at the very best, the very strongest of the future. And Sweden being one of those nations that are consistently producing talent. A nation that Wolfgang Pichler has been intimately engaged with for a very, very long time, and has seen through a significant amount of success, creating a system of total confidence, as we see Erik Vestberg there just cruising over the top of that bridge. And I would say, although it may appear that he put no effort in pushing over the top, that could be tactical. He is easing off as he enters the range, because they need to get their breath back. They need to recover. And before the race, they'll all be very well acquainted with exactly where they need to take their foot off the gas, just enough to suit their personal needs. They know their bodies. And for those who are keeping track of the British racer, Nathan Carter, he's missed only 2 targets today. Penalty of 44 seconds added on to his time. As Erik Vestberg is going for 10 out of 10. It's 9 out of 9, and it's the last shot, just trips him up Erik Vestberg, it was going so well, and I really like his discipline. Coming into the shooting range, he took his foot off the gas, he relaxed, and his process mattered the most. And we saw that demonstrated by excellent shooting there. 9 out of 10 is nothing to scoff at, and he'll be kicking himself for missing the last shot. But what an opportunity to evolve as a biathlete, to realize what it was that caused that miss to take place. And we cut to the distant climb coming back in towards the stadium as these biathletes charging up these steep inclines. Look at the power and look at the tenacity we've got from Maciej Klapka of Poland. A huge speed, a huge attack, despite the fact he's only shot prone so far. So this athlete now a real professional, exemplifying that professionalism and that speed. And I think it's worth taking a moment to appreciate just how exceptional these biathletes truly are. And Maciej Klapka coming now into the shooting range, 2 minutes and 37 seconds back. That is off the time Sebastian Samuelsson, who has exited the range already in relative terms, if they were to have started at the same time ago. Let's take a moment also to consider Victor Brandt finishing down in 20th place. He's going to have to really fight tomorrow. Imagine he'll still be a contender for the World Cup, no doubt. But Maciej Klapka now 8 out of 10, missing 1 in pro and 1 in stand. But look at the energy coming out off the mat. I love to see that. Very often you see biathletes just picking up their poles, throwing the rifle in the back and stepping off the mat as if there's no urgency. But Maciej managed to charge off the mat and is fighting for those seconds. Henning Lind Temberg, he's hit 5 out of 5 in prone. And now the question is, can he control the poisonous thoughts? So far, so bad. Unfortunately, the first shot doesn't go down, but he has an opportunity to compose himself. The third does not go down. Now, interesting to observe there. After the second shot, he hit the second one, and instead of going on to the next shot in the sequence, he chose to go back and reshoot a target that he missed. Now, the reason why that strikes me as being an impulsive shoot, and perhaps I could be wrong here, but just from the perspective of a perfect process, these biathletes repeat the same movement of the rifle, transitioning from target to target. And if there's a disruption in that rhythm, it implies that the biathlete is not entering the target from the same direction, is not following a consistent rhythm, and hasn't got the discipline in the moment to move on to the next target. Now, of course, there's loads of assumptions there. It's just broadly applicable. That individual might have a strategy to always shoot the target that they miss. And fine, if that is the strategy. But it's interesting to see those different styles and how that kind of shooting is less prevalent on the World Cup than it might be at a level such as this. But nevertheless, great shooting in prone from that individual as Sondre Hedsten Svan is coming towards the finish line with his 50% hit rate. Finishing now 6 minutes and 23 seconds back, slotting into 66th position. '66 of 74 finishers thus far. And of course, there should be approximately, excuse me, that was, no, it was 88 finishers, I should say, not 66. So there are more to come. But what participation, not only from the sense of numbers, but also from the range of nations. We've got Sweden, Germany, Estonia, Moldova, Norway, Ukraine, Poland, Switzerland, Lots of different nations, Great Britain, of course, as well. Lots of different nations coming and partaking in this fantastic event. And once again, what a privilege it is to be able to broadcast that internationally. As Erik Vestberg crosses with his 90% hit rate, he'll be pleased with himself, and I was very impressed with his discipline coming into the shooting range, that really showing with a 90% hit rate. And that is what shooting is all about. Discipline. Controlling impulse. Dan Maria Tadaldi of Switzerland, 64th place. Now, just to dig into that a little bit and the discipline aspect of shooting, there are instances where we see some of the biathletes get impulsive and feel an urge to go and attack, feel an urge to shoot fast. But it's the control that the likes of Sebastian Samuelsson, today's winner, that he displays, that means that he is always one of those biathletes who's up there at the top of the result sheet. He was the 4th best biathlete in the world last year in the men's field, in behind Eric Perrault. Of course, Eric Perrault being a fantastic prospect for the overall title this year. Sture Holm-Lygrid has his work cut out to maintain that title. I suspect Samuelsson will not be thinking about the overall title this year at all. He's going to be thinking about the Olympics. So too is Lucas Hofer, but Lucas Hofer finishing a little bit down the order as Mariek Lapka is now coming in to finish, missing only 2 targets, finishing in 50th place. A good result from the Polish biathlete. Exhausted. And it really is an exhausting sport. A punishing sport, as Kajetan Obanek of Poland will know all too well. He hit them all in prone, and he missed almost all of them in stand, only getting 1 target in stand shooting, adding a significant time penalty to his overall result. But nevertheless, finishing in 71st position so far. Henning Lindenberg, he did something similar, gets them all in prone, and then struggled in stand, missing 3. Stand very often is the shoot of reaction and mental control, whereas prone is often perceived as being the one of precision and physical control. Wearing bib 87 or 187, the second last starter, or in fact the last starter of the day, as Loke Skuld never actually started. He was a DNS. So not long to go until this race is over, but if you haven't got the time to see it through, do join us tomorrow for the races, which promise to be extremely exciting, just as today was. And we will bring to you the result sheets, an overview of today's race, where Sebastian Samuelsson stood atop the leaderboard, the top of the podium, claiming the victory in true stylish fashion, with Philip Horm taking 2nd place, Simon Kaiser in 3rd, and Strello taking 4th. The Germans really having a fantastic day. And as we look further down the order, Jesper Nalin of Sweden, in and around fellow Swedes who are competing for spots. And that's going to set the nerves a-tingling. So do come and watch tomorrow's races, which do promise equally to be exciting and dramatic. The timings of those: 10 o'clock for the women's race, and 12:30 for the men's. If you look further down the start order, we see a diverse range of flags participating and coming far and wide to ski here in Idre Fjäll, one of the best stadiums in the whole world in terms of production of great quality snow conditions this early, despite very often there not being any snow, real snow to ski on. So kudos to the team that made this race happen. Kudos to the team that produced it, because what a fantastic race it was, and how exciting it was to see Sebastian Samuelsson once again at the very top of his game. And a reminder that the races on Sunday, the women start at 10 o'clock and the men start at 12:30. The same format as today will be tomorrow. And there we see Nathan Carter, bib number 83, a fantastic race for him, missing 2 targets. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for joining me right the way through to the end of this race. I've been Scott Dixon. I very much enjoyed bringing this race to you and talking through the details. And once again, apologies for the technical disruption halfway through the race. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central European time for the women's sprint, and then 12:30 Central European time for the men's sprint. It's been great. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Han har Magnus som går femma. Vi får se hur 4 och Fischbeck just när han var 6 här.